Hey everyone, hope you're well and hope you've had a good start to the week. So it's Tuesday, which means it's time to go through some of the company articles that have come out over the last week. We're going to look through them. There's a couple that have interested me and hopefully they'll be of interest to you. Obviously, I've added all of the links below, so feel free to go and check them out. There are also some additional links for some other similar sort of stories. If you haven't already, please remember to like and subscribe to the video. It really helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. And also, if you've got any questions or anything you want to raise or just generally a comment you'd like to make, drop it in the comments below and I'll always be there to answer. So without further ado, let's get into some of the articles and we'll have a look at the first story. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around and my name's Ben. So the first story is around Abbvie and the court settlement they've got with Evolus. This is actually affecting Allergan, which Abbvie did acquire earlier in the year. It seems that Evolus and Allergan have come to a settlement which involves Evolus paying Allergan and its partner Meditox up to $35 million in cash, plus royalties on a new release medication as it hits the US. These royalties will also be claimed on other areas such as European countries and a few others, but mainly US is where this will be hitting. For those of you that aren't aware, the background story on what this settlement is coming from is that Evolus actually brought out a medication by the name of Juvia, which was an alternative to Botox produced by Allergan. The issue here is that Allergan have accused of trade secrets being stolen in the production of this new version of the medication. I'm unsure about this settlement in regards to Evolus because I don't know if that is them evidencing the fact that they did commit trade secret theft or if it's just a fact that they wanted to get them on the shelves. The main reason for this is because prior to this settlement, Evolus were temporarily being banned from sale in the US. There was initially a ban of 21 months from this product entering the US, and that was initially reduced down from 10 years when they weren't 100% sure if the charge of theft of trade secrets could be upheld. So they reduced it to the 21-month period for that set duration. However, that has now been repealed as part of this settlement. So overall, from the point of Abbvie and Allergan, I think this is a bit of good news. If you are going to have a product that is competing against your own come onto the market, it is always a nice thing to have it that you own a percentage of the sales from that product. So this will do well in helping Abbvie battle the potential drop in their bottom line from their Humira issues that may account, which I covered in one of my last videos. So if we jump over to the 2019 revenues for the Botox product, we can see that in 2019, Botox cosmetic net revenues were 991 million, with the Botox therapeutic net revenue for the fourth quarter being 463 million. Overall, I think picking this up is a good overall thing. That means that they're still managing to keep potentially their market share for the Botox product, and any of that market share that is reduced, they then are going to gain a percentage of the revenue from that. So overall, I think it is a good play. So moving swiftly on to the next story, we're going to breathe a little bit of life into it, and this is the epic battle between Apple and Epic Games. Do you like what I did there? It's good, isn't it? Drop a like. Anyway, moving back on. So we can now see that it seems that Apple have actually subpoenaed Valve software in an attempt to gather information about how Steam operates and is used in proceedings with Epic Games. Valve have already produced a fair bit of information in collaboration with Apple on this front, and it seems that this latest subpoena that they've requested is potentially too far for Valve. Apple have asked Valve for up to 6 years past history of all game sales and everything like that. So that's a lot of information for them to be able to come back and give to Apple in regards to an ongoing lawsuit with Epic Games. And both Epic Games and Apple are due to present themselves in court in May this year to hopefully resolve and outline what's going on and going forward with this. For those of you that aren't aware, last year what happened is Epic Games, the creator of Fortnite, had their app loaded onto Apple and Android and basically every other device you could think of. You could get Fortnite. And they continued to get a following and it all went mental. I'm sure you remember Fortnite or at least play it or know someone that has. Epic Games essentially approached Apple and asked for a reduction in the commission fee that Apple take, which from memory is around 30%. So any revenues that an app on the Apple Store makes, Apple claims 30% of that revenue. And Epic weren't particularly happy with this. They asked for a reduction, at which point Apple quite happily said, no, you don't have to put your app on our App Store. If you want to, it's 30%. It seems that Epic didn't really want to take this line down, and then what they proceeded to do was sideload an option into their iPhone games that you could buy their internal currency direct and save money. Oddly, I find it quite amusing that they were arguing about the 30% that they wanted to reduce, and then the actual discount they gave to their customers was only about 20%. Needless to say, Apple weren't particularly happy with this and promptly disconnected the game from the App Store. I believe it also happened on Android, and Android also removed it, though it has now appeared back on the store. In retaliation to this, Epic hit them with a massive lawsuit, essentially, multiple pages within hours of it being removed from the store. And they also created a sort of parody advert that called for fans of Fortnite to fight Apple and to essentially overturn the system. And the video itself was a parody of the IBM video that Apple released years and years ago. Personally, I feel Epic should just pay the 30%. There are a lot of creators and a lot of app developers that are on the store and pay the 30%, and they don't get any benefits from this. They don't have necessarily the legal team to be able to fight it, or the army of 14-year-olds happy to scream about it on Twitter. So I find it slightly unfair on that front, but it's up to them if they want to do it. What do you think? Do you think Epic Games should just be paying the 30% and then get their games back on the App Store? It is worth adding that currently you cannot download Fortnite onto Apple devices, though as mentioned it is back on Android devices if you wanted to play it there. However, if you've already got it on your phone, to my understanding, you can still play it. So if you don't have an iPhone and you want an iPhone and you want Fortnite on it, you can pay 3 times the price of the phone by popping on eBay and buying one with Fortnite installed. I personally wouldn't recommend that, but it's entirely up to you. If you feel the need to pay 3 times the price of a phone just to be able to get a free downloaded game onto that phone, there is the option of eBay for you. And yeah, 3 times the price, that's a lot. But anyway, moving on to the next story. Now, moving quickly over to a shorter story, we've got some information about some banking, and what seems to have happened is the FCA in the UK have now released restrictions allowing banks to do things like share buybacks and dividends. Multiple banks have announced that they'll be doing this. I believe HSBC are looking to do one, and mainly the one we're going to be talking about today is Barclays. Barclays have said that they'll be doing a payout of approximately 4p per share to shareholders, and this is going to come in the form of a 1p dividend paid out throughout 2021 per share, and also share buybacks, which should attribute approximately a 3p increase in share price, therefore paying that out to the shareholders. This share buyback scheme is estimated to cost around £700 million, and that's what's going to be used to actually buy the shares back to increase the revenues for the shareholders, which I find a little bit strange because I'm pretty sure from memory Barclays actually dropped about 78% in fourth quarter earnings, which isn't necessarily good. But currently the company is hovering around £1.50 a share, so if you want to check out their financials and you think they're interesting, that's the price you'd be paying. And finally, just before the portfolio update, we have a brief story from Cardinal Health, who are seeking a tax break of just shy of £1 billion. This is due to Cardinal Health, along with J&J and a few others, having to pay a combined total of $26 billion as a settlement for their part in the impact of the opioid crisis in the USA. Cardinal Health initially paid out approximately $6.6 billion, which is roughly $1.6 billion more than what J&J paid out. However, the seeking an approval of this getting a tax rebate option on it currently hasn't been approved and could be overturned in the future. This was mainly made possible by the CARES Act, which to my understanding when it was brought in at the beginning of the COVID pandemic was designed to help companies that were affected by the pandemic reduce their potential tax bills by offsetting their losses. And it seems Cardinal Health are using this to their benefit. Even though Cardinal Health haven't been negatively affected by the pandemic, they are still able to apply for this increased amount of tax break. So do you think it's wrong for a larger company to actually use this essential loophole in the CARES Act to claim back this money? As a shareholder, I like the idea, and to be honest, I'm not a taxpayer in the US, so it affects me less. But if I do have any American viewers, is this something that you don't like? What's going on? Let me know. Just to give you the heads up, that Cardinal Health are basically at a market capitalization of around 15 billion and were reported to have around $4 billion in cash on hand. So they may not have necessarily needed the rebate. So that's it on the news front. There are a couple more stories linked below that you might find of interest. Just if you think of anything that I may have missed throughout this, please comment below so that we can all share the news and we can see what's going on. And if you haven't already, please remember, like and subscribe. It really helps me out and I appreciate it. And without further delay, let's get on to my portfolio changes over the last week. So jumping over to my ISA on Trading 212, we can see that I've actually had a portfolio value drop from around 2,198 last week to this week at 2,177. This is about a £20 drop in value, and also in regards of return, about a 1% drop from 5.08% down to about 4.06%. This week, in regards to purchases, I made no purchases. I didn't have the money, unfortunately. I am looking to add around £20 to £30 at the beginning of next week, and then followed by the end of the week when I'll be adding in my normal £100 to £200 from my pay wage. So moving over to dividends, we can see that I did have a few payments last week. The first payment came in from Main Street Capital, who paid 63 pence. Then the following day, we had Pembina Pipeline pay out 20 pence on the 17th. And then we had Apple on the 19th. Now, Apple paid out 6 pence, but Trading 212 had a bit of a wobbly. Not quite sure what they did, but they paid out Apple's dividend 4 times. And I checked online, it's happened to multiple people. I believe it was wide across the platform. So I actually got 18p more than I should have got from the 3 extra payments. However, they did quickly come in and remove that from the account, which has personally annoyed me a little bit, because now it's shown that I've actually withdrawn money from the account, which I haven't. I know it's a small thing and it doesn't actually affect anything, but it annoys me. So that's one strike against Trading 212, another mess up. They are a good company. I would still recommend them, but they have been having a few issues recently, so it's slightly concerning to see. If you're trading with 212 already, did you get extra dividends? Did this happen to anyone else besides Apple? Or do you hold Apple and suddenly you saw that you've had money taken out of your account? For me, this wasn't particularly, as I said, an issue. It was slightly concerning when I logged onto my history and saw that 18p had been withdrawn from my account, and then I could see what it was. However, I imagine some people may have had a heart attack if they had a lot of shares and Trading 212 paid them an additional 1 million, for example, and then when they look at their account, the past transaction shows that someone's withdrawn £1 million from their portfolio. I don't know if that did affect anyone. If you had that experience, please comment below and I might jump on Reddit and we'll see if we can find anyone that did. But for me, if I'd suddenly logged on and saw £1 million withdrawn from my account, I would have had a panic attack. All in all, cash-wise, I've added about £2,013 into the account. And as I've said, my portfolio value is sitting at around 2,177. So currently about £185 up if I was to sell all of my stocks as of now, which I'm not going to. So that's it from the portfolio update. As always, if there's anything you want to see in these portfolio updates more than just my growth, my dividends and my overall change, let me know. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to dig out and we can go through it. I will be doing my monthly update video for my portfolio next Saturday, so not the Saturday coming, and we'll go over everything a bit more in depth. So if there's anything you want to see in that, please do comment below and I'll make sure I include it in the video for you. And that's it. Thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate it. If you can remember to like and subscribe, and any comments, please post them below. I'm aiming to get to 100 subscribers hopefully in the next year, and if we can get there, I do have a giveaway that I'm planning and a little few surprises. So if you wouldn't mind sharing this with someone that might find it interesting, I would greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.